Hello YouTube, this is Andre from the Swell Dudes Fish Tanks, and it's time for another update. So this is the 40 long, and some really interesting things are happening in here. First of all, my two Amazon swords there and there in the back are producing a lot of new plants. So there's one stem going along there with plants on it. There's another one in the back. And there's one coming up this way. That right there is another stem. So right now there's about 20 new plants. By the end of this, there's probably going to be another 10, maybe another 20. So that's a lot of Amazon swords that these two produce. So I'm really happy about that. Going to be giving them away to some friends and some fish stores. And something that really surprised me are these Epongatons, I think is how they're called. So over a year ago I put two bulbs there and they sprouted and I had two plants. Then the plants died about a month later and I haven't seen them since. Now it's been over a year later and they've come back again. I thought that they died, but apparently they just melted back and formed a bulb again, and for some reason their growth was triggered again a year later, and here they come. What's really cool is that all of this below is just the regular leaves, but this stem going up is actually a flower. I'm not really prepared to film this. Here, give me a second. Here. So see, it goes up and out of the water. Come on, focus. Yeah, so that's a flower. It's really pretty. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really cool. It just really surprised me that I haven't seen them for over a year, and then they sprouted again. And you can see that from when I ripped out half of the plants a couple of weeks ago. New plants are already going this way again. The water spray I put there is taking hold. The water lily that I cut way back is putting a bunch of new growth, but notice that now the new water lilies, the new lilies that it's putting out are pretty much sitting on top of the substrate. I guess, I don't know exactly how it works, but when you trim it, when it grows to the top and you trim it back, it no longer grows as tall, it grows shorter. And if you trim it when it grows shorter, it grows even shorter. But if you don't trim it, then it just sends its petals all the way to the top. It's the lily pads all the way to the top, which is interesting. But I do want it to stay compact like this and just... I don't want it resting right on the substrate like it is right now, but maybe like this high. That'll be interesting. Kind of looks like a... No, not really. I mean, it resembles a red tiger lotus because it's a water lily. It has the same shape, but it's totally different coloration. Now, I moved one of the turquoise rainbows from this tank into this tank because it was like an inch bigger than all the other rainbows and it was bullying them a bit. So things have calmed down a bit in here. So that's nice. All the plants are growing in nicely. So this Klein bar sword, actually, let me turn the air off. That Klein bar sword in the middle, it's produced 3 new plants, one there, and one there. All 3 of those have taken a root already, so they're rooted into the substrate and they're growing rapidly. But then you can see there's another thing coming out that way, and there's another 3 plants developing on there. So all in all, I have 6 new plants from that one plant already. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, the Bacopa caroliniana, I've been propagating that. I added pennywort, which has grown significantly. Same with the water sprite. I only added a few, like a small section of Alodia 2 months ago. Now there's a lot of it, you know, and it grows exponentially as long as there's enough nutrients available. Yeah, and unfortunately one of my Herbert axelrodi rainbows died. That was really sad. The yellow ones. Yeah, so I had 4, now I only have 3 of those guys. Really pissed me off yesterday. I think what happened is that I was feeding them and I skipped a day feeding, so it was 2 days before I fed them because I forgot. Had a lot of schoolwork, and when I fed them they all got really excited, and that one fish jumped and hit itself hard against the lid. I heard that, and it seemed stunned for a couple of minutes, but then I added some more food so that it can get some, and it seemed alright. But the next day that same fish was having trouble staying afloat, so it was floating belly up. So my guess is it did some injury to its swim bladder, and the energy of keeping itself upright is what, you know, it drained it of energy, and that's what killed it. That's my guess. I don't really know a lot of fish anatomy, fish care, other than feeding them. Maybe that's something I should get on top of. Yeah. I did dissect it afterward just to make sure it wasn't any parasite that killed it. It didn't have any intestinal worms or anything, or ick. Well, that would have been obvious. It didn't have any parasites that I could see, that I'm familiar of. So, yeah, my guess is it bumping against the lid killed it. I'm really bummed about that because